super fun craft. These are pom-pom puppets, and they're super cute little marionettes that we're going to make that are like little worms. I love it. All right, so I went ahead and threaded my needle, and then we're going to just tie a pretty good size knot in the back here because we're going to be sewing through the pom-poms to make our worm puppet. So get a nice, good, solid knot back here. All right, so we're going to need one of our big pom-poms. I'm going to set that aside, and then 5 of our little pom-poms. So I think I will make mine with these colors. So we're just going to start by going through each of the pom-poms. I'm going to make sure that there's no gaps, but we don't want it to be so tight that it's squished up on top of each other, right? And then I'm going to actually sew back in this direction and tie a little in between here, so make sure these are kind of squished back a little bit so that you can scooch them up when you're done. I just do this so that the tie doesn't show on the front. 3 knots in here. Okay. Make sure you pull that, and then we can squish these up a little bit. And there we go, we have our basic little puppet, right? So then we're going to cut that off down that end, and we're going to cut off on this end. Make sure not cut through the knot, but just trim off the end like that. Fantastic. All right, now we're just going to cut and place our stuff on the stick. So you want a fairly decent amount of thread, like, I'd say about 24 inches, as they said in there. I'm not going to completely measure it, but we want to double it up because we want to make sure that there's plenty for us to maneuver the marionette, and we're going to tie between the big and the small one next to it. Again, just a couple of double knot there. And we'll trim off the end so you can't see it. And then we're going to cut another bit of thread about the same length. You can measure these out, but you can also even it out on the stick when you get there, so it's not as big of a deal. I'm going to wrap this a couple of times, and then I'm going to tie it, and then we're going to put a dab of glue on it too. All right, so now they're on the stick. You can see, first of all, we can wrap these up a little bit just to, first of all, get the puppet even. And second of all, make it so it's a little easier to manipulate. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it up to about right here, I think. And then I want to make sure that this stays on the stick. So I'm just going to put a little dollop of glue on each end. And a marionette is fun because it is a puppet, but it is a puppet that plays with physics. Because basically you're using strings to counteract gravity, right? But because they're set at angles, you can make the puppet move at weird angles to gravity, because gravity is just straight down, right? You can make it move and worm and do stuff at a weird angle because the strings can alter the direction of that force. So it's super fun, and you get to play with a puppet. I mean, who doesn't like to play with a puppet, right? There you go. Isn't this fun? Just a cute little project. Allows you to have a wiggly worm. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, there you go.